Welcome to Lato Files. I'm Chris Lato. Thank you for being here. Today's show is about Dr. Kirkpatrick. He's in charge of the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. And the day after the whistleblower hearings, where three witnesses go under oath, one of them saying they feared for their life. And what did Kirkpatrick do? He wrote a thank you letter after. He wrote a thank you letter saying thank you to these brave men for putting it on the line and speaking about their U.S. I'm just kidding. He didn't write a thank you letter. He wrote a ridiculous letter. It was so ridiculous. Oh my gosh. It's so ridiculous. Chris Lato. Welcome to Lato Files. I'm just kidding. It was not a thank you letter. He did not write a thank you letter. He wrote this just ridiculous letter. Just can't believe it. So awesome. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. So we will get to the letter. Thank you so much for being here. Smash that like button if you do like this content. Subscribe to get future notifications. The hearing was blockbuster. I got to go. Thanks so much to Patreon and YouTube memberships. Really based on your support was the only reason I could go. Paid for the plane ticket. Thank you for being here. This is from Representative Anna Paulina Luna's Twitter account, X account now, July 29th, okay? We just had a witness, Grush, testified to Congress. He was in fear for his life. And his former boss, I love this, his former boss, Kirkpatrick, decides to post a letter attempting to discredit him. Seems odd. I mean, just ridiculous, right? Can you imagine? Kirkpatrick, why did you not follow up on Grush's concerns when he disclosed them to you over a year ago? Over a year ago. Why didn't you disclose them to you over a year ago? I mean, it is just amazing. So decides to post a letter attempting to discredit him. That's it. And, you know, this made news, right? Look, this is Time magazine. Okay. What does Time come out of the hearings? Did they have anything talking about, oh, the UFO claims made by the whistleblowers are amazing, unbelievable claims? Let's see. No, what is Time's coverage? The UFO congressional hearing was insulting, a top Pentagon official says. So already starting with the negative press. This is from Washington. A top Pentagon official has attacked this week's widely watched congressional hearing on UFOs, calling the claims insulting to employees who are investigating sightings and accusing a key witness of not cooperating with the official U.S. government. This is what it comes up with. Let's look at the conclusion of this. Contrary to assertions made in the hearing, the central source of those allegations has refused to speak with AARO. Kirkpatrick said he refused. He did not explicitly name Grush, but let's see the actual letter. There's another article. Let's see. UFO hearing was insulting, top U.S. investigator says. So, I mean, this is really the AARO's response, right? This is what's going to come out as AARO's response, because he says in the top of his letter initially, this is my personal opinion, but you are the leader of AARO. You're the director. So this is the official response. I mean, it doesn't matter what you put it, you know, it's kind of like saying, no offense, but I'm going to offend you. All right, let's check out the actual letter. The letter. Ridiculous. Oh, man. Let's read it. Okay, let's read this ridiculousness. Hearings and transparency. Sean M. Kirkpatrick, PhD. Let me begin by saying that the following are my own personal observations and opinions, which do not necessarily represent official DoD or IC positions. My own personal observations. But you're the leader. Yesterday, the Subcommittee on National Security, the Border, and Foreign Affairs held an open hearing on UAP, which a government cover-up of extraterrestrials was alleged. That is correct. That was alleged. And you knew it was coming. I wholeheartedly applaud congressional efforts to get to the truth about UAPR and the risk to both pilot safety and national security. I am absolutely committed to transparency on both the historical mission and the operational mission. Okay, why haven't you talked to either of these people? You haven't talked to David Fravor? Are you kidding me? You haven't called David Fravor yourself? Just ridiculous. It's unbelievable. Or Graves. You're not dedicated. You would have talked to them. How could you not have talked to them? As the director of AARO's amazingly talented, devoted, and highly motivated team. All right, this is way too many adverbs. Okay, way too many. If you have an ly at the end, that is too many. So immediately I'm thinking he doesn't like them. As a director of AARO's amazingly talented, devoted, and highly motivated team, however, I cannot let yesterday's hearing pass without sharing how insulting it was to the officers of the Department of Defense and Intelligence community who chose to join AARO, many with not unreasonable anxieties about the career risks this would entail. It's just amazing that what what do their feelings have anything to do with anything? Honestly, even if we did offend them, are you getting to the truth or are you not? It doesn't matter. I don't. Okay, but anyway, thanks for joining Arrow. You've done a horrible job. All right. Tirelessly and often in the face of harassment and animosity. Yes, but you should have called the main witnesses. It's face of harassment because of your terrible job. How could you not call David Fravor and ask about the Nimitz? That should be step one of your investigation. Step one. Step two would be calling Ryan Graves. That's step two. You didn't do that. You still haven't done it. It's ridiculous. To satisfy their congressionally mandated mission, like they're mandated by Congress. He's mad at Congress for like going and doing his job. He's like, you guys found whistleblowers, man. And they didn't talk to us because we didn't ask them. They are truth seekers, as am I, okay? Except not where the truth is. But you certainly would not get that impression from yesterday's hearing. No, you would not. Because we watched the previous hearing where you explained that nothing has been found, nothing has been done, and your processes are terrible. Where is the website? Why is there no actual way to give a report to AARO? Why is your Twitter account not updated since 2022? You're just dedicated to it, right? Let's see, Twitter. When was the last post? July 20, 2022. Wow, look at that. You guys are just dedicated to getting that information out, to tracking down the witnesses, to getting information to the truth. Kirkpatrick is like a nurse shark. Once he gets into that truth, you just can't break his jaws. If you want to support, go to patreon.com/Chris Lato or YouTube memberships. I'm also posting videos on Twitter. Thanks again for being here. AARO was established by law. It certainly was. To investigate the allegations and assertions presented in yesterday's hearing. Yes, presented yesterday's hearing. You should be happy about that. Allegations by its witnesses of retaliation, to include physical assault and hints of murder, are extraordinarily serious, which is why law enforcement is a critical member of the AARO team, specifically to address and take swift action should anyone come forward with such claims. Oh, really? All those people coming forward. Yet, contrary to assertions made in the hearing, the central source of those allegations has refused to speak with AARO. Has refused to speak with AARO. Can you imagine? Is this like they called him last week and he said, no, it's too late? I would like to hear this. Do you have proof of this? Furthermore, some information reportedly provided to Congress has not been provided to AARO. Yes, I wonder why. Raising additional questions about the true commitment to transparency by some congressional elements. What are they going to give you the information? You should be getting the information. It's from Grush, who says he talked to you over a year ago, and he said you have his number. That should be on here. I've called him 30 times to his home phone number, and he has not returned our calls. It's also never a good idea to write a letter, guys. Like, it really isn't. I mean, the timing is so terrible, and it's written down. These witnesses go under oath, national TV, make amazing claims, and he writes this letter. That's what he did. He wrote this letter. He could have been there in person. Where was Kirkpatrick? I was like looking around for Dr. Kirkpatrick. Maybe he could have asked them. He could have learned some stuff. The subcommittee, whose questions and oversight duties are irreproachable and in genuine need of answers, has never asked AARO for an update on the reporting system, the historical review, the operations, and the S&T strategy that AARO leads and is undertaking. Yeah, they specifically said, we don't want to talk to you. A rational person watching the hearing might reasonably assume that both the witnesses and the members had an understanding of the department's and the IC's progress since the establishment of AARO around this time last year, only naturally leading them to conclude that AARO has been ineffective, non-transparent, and delinquent in its legislated mission. Yes, we also saw the briefing that you did with Kirsten Gillibrand, where you basically said you have not learned anything. You haven't gone through one complete case. You haven't gone through one complete case. And by the way, you totally ignored the most important cases, the Nimitz and Gimbel. I mean, what were you guys doing the whole time? I mean, it's just ridiculous. This letter, because they've been giving so many briefs. AARO briefs the defense and intel committees regularly. Okay, and since the last National Defense Authorization Act, they've briefed the Homeland Defense, S&T, and several other committees as well. Okay. I am deeply disappointed at the denigration of AARO's dedicated men and women hailing from the Department of Defense, intelligence community, and civil partners who are pouring their hearts out, working this issue on the behalf of Congress, pouring their hearts out. Okay, it's just so ridiculous. Pouring their hearts out. Okay, really? Did they say their names on national TV? Did they go under oath in front of Congress? AARO has the authorities and resources necessary to execute this mission. Does it? To meet congressional intent? I doubt it. And as we stated before, AARO welcomes anyone with knowledge of any of these allegations or programs to talk to us in a safe, secure, and appropriately cleared environment. Rest assured, AARO will follow the data wherever it leads. Will it really? Because I know it talked to Mario Woods. Mario Woods, who was on my channel, gave a 3-hour plus account of how he was abducted, went up to a nuclear silo, met with extraterrestrial beings who basically froze him, moved him and his truck 4 miles away. And yet you have no credible evidence at all of extraterrestrial or any sort of off-world tech. And you say this openly, and you think that it's not going to come up against any sort of bad, you're not going to have any pushback. It's ridiculous. These people are heroes who have literally gone under oath. And yet your team, who sits in anonymity, we don't know who they are, pouring their hearts out, which has, by the way, not called once. How have you not talked to David Fravor, whoever is on that team? How have you not talked to Ryan Graves? It's just ridiculous. And so going and sending a letter, oh, it's so awesome. Love it. It's just so amazing. Finally, to be clear, AARO has yet to find any credible evidence, to support the allegations of any reverse engineering program for non-human technology. Also, to be clear, none of the whistleblowers from yesterday's hearing ever worked for AARO or was ever a representative to AARO, contrary to statements made in testimony and in the media. No, they were the UAP task force. David Grush was on the UAP task force, and you took over for the UAP task force, Dr. Kirkpatrick. AARO was the follow-on for the UAP task force, meaning you should have talked to all of those people. You should have personally briefed David Grush and listened to what he said, but you did not. And right now it just looks terrible and completely disenfranchised. And we're going to leave you with a final note here. And really, I think why he wrote this letter is we're going to watch from Miss Fox, and she just crushes it here with David Grush. Watch this.
Mr. Garouche, in your sworn testimony, you state that the United States government has retrieved supposedly extraterrestrial spacecraft and other UAP-related artifacts. You go so far as to state that the U.S. is in possession of, quote, non-human spacecraft, end quote, and that some of these artifacts have circulated with defense contractors. Several other former military and intelligence officials have come forward with similar allegations, albeit in non-public settings. However, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the director of AARO, previously testified before Congress that there has been, and I quote, no credible evidence thus far of extraterrestrial activity or of, quote, off-world technology brought to the attention of the office. To your knowledge, is that statement correct?
It's not accurate. I believe Dr. Kirkpatrick mentioned he had about 30 individuals that have come to AARO thus far. A few of those individuals have also come to AARO that I also interviewed, and I know what they provided Dr. Kirkpatrick and their team.
Okay.
I was able to evaluate that information.
I need to go on.
Okay, so David Grush, man. First off, you guys have to remember David Grush was an intelligence analyst. So I worked with Intel all the time. Intel are normally really smart people. And he was high ranking Intel. Okay, he was a GS-15. You're talking National Geospatial agency satellites. He was also in Afghanistan as an intelligence agent, as intel. So what do they do? Fighter pilots in the Air Force, what do we need intel for? It's to understand the enemy, to determine the best targets. How do you pick out the best targets? Is you have to understand the actual makeup of the enemy system. An enemy is always a network. So what is David Grush great at? Probably better than most people in the world, is analyzing enemy networks, communication networks, oriented around people, systems, technologies. This is exactly what he did when he was an intel analyst. He analyzed enemy comm networks, enemy weapon networks, enemy systems. And so David Grush here explains why he knows that the information from AARO is not correct. He said that he knows several of those 30 people that are going to AARO to give their information, and he knows what they gave them. He knows. AARO has the information. So to come through and keep saying this is just weird. It's just strange. And just very disappointed in Kirkpatrick. He should be coming out in defense of these whistleblowers, saying he can't wait to get their information, can't wait to talk with them.
His statement is accurate, came from a direct quote. And this contradiction is a perfect example of why we need to inject transparency into our government. And for another example, look no further than the pitiful response to the Chinese spy balloon debacle earlier this year.
And Miss Fox is correct. Man, those are blatantly opposite statements, right? I mean, imagine that. You're in charge of the government's congressionally mandated task force, right? Now the office called All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. And then you have 3 whistleblowers who come out saying they have had reprisals. One of them feared for his life. And yet, right away, we get this letter from the director. I mean, it's just insane, right? The next day, nothing positive, nothing supporting it. Great to see Congress looking out for UAPs and UFOs, trying to get to the bottom of it. Nope. Kirkpatrick is disappointed. Oh, it's just so awesome, man. It's so ridiculous. Just can't believe it. He's disappointed. Oh, man. What do I hope after this? I just want to see him actually go and talk to David Fravor. I mean, that should be step one. The fact that they haven't communicated is just wrong on so many levels, right? He's your primary witness for the Nimitz, and that is by far our best case. We have the most information. What happened to the data? What happened to the radar tapes from the Nimitz? There's so many people to talk to. Kevin Day, Gary Voorhees, David Fravor, Alex Dietrich. How many more people do you need? There, you have all the data you need right there. And yet, as he showed right in this letter, is he hasn't even talked to the main witness, David Fravor, or Ryan Graves. And Ryan Graves is a proponent of safe aerospace, a proponent of UAPs. He's mainstream in the UAP world. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You know, there's no way this letter helped them at all. I will say that there's no way the letter helped. I mean, just to read this again, you know, from a representative in Congress. We just had a witness, Grush, testify to Congress. He was in fear for his life, and his former boss. And I wonder if that's who Grush was referring to. Is there actual administrative action from Kirkpatrick, from his former boss, if that's true, decides to post a letter attempting to discredit him? Seems odd. Kirkpatrick, why did you not follow up on Grush's concerns when he disclosed them to you? I mean, this should be top question. Can you really say, Dr. K, there's no credible evidence? Your office has received no credible evidence? Really? Good question. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for all your support. Go to patreon.com/Chris Lato to get additional content, as well as YouTube memberships. Thanks for watching to the end. If you haven't hit that like button, it does really help. And share. Thanks again for being here. I'll be sending videos from Turkey. So follow me on Twitter and subscribe here to get notifications and updates on the Turkey adventure. Have a great day, everyone. Peace.